Title: The Midnight Hitchhiker. The road stretched out before me like a ribbon of darkness, illuminated only by the feeble glow of my headlights. It was late, far later than I had intended to be out driving, but when duty calls, one must answer. I gripped the wheel tightly, trying to shake off the unease that had settled in the pit of my stomach. I had been driving for what felt like hours, the monotony broken only by the occasional flicker of a road sign or the distant howl of a lone wolf. But as the night wore on, my tired mind began to play tricks on me. Shadows danced at the edge of my vision, and every rustle of the wind seemed to whisper my name. Just when I thought I couldn't take it anymore, I saw her standing on the side of the road, a figure cloaked in darkness, her thumb extended in a silent plea for help. Without thinking, I pulled over, my heart pounding in my chest. "Need a ride?" I called out, trying to sound braver than I felt. She nodded, her face hidden beneath the hood of her cloak. As she slid into the passenger seat, a shiver ran down my spine. There was something about her that set my teeth on edge, something that seemed off. "Thanks," she murmured, her voice barely above a whisper. "I've been waiting for someone to come along." I forced a smile, my hands trembling on the wheel. "No problem. Where are you headed?" She didn't answer, instead staring out into the darkness with unseeing eyes. The silence stretched between us, broken only by the steady hum of the engine. As we drove, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. The air seemed to grow colder with each passing mile, and I could feel her gaze burning into the side of my face. "Is everything okay?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. She didn't respond, instead reaching out to touch my arm with icy fingers. I recoiled, my heart racing in terror. "We're almost there," she said, her voice barely a whisper. I glanced at the road ahead, my blood running cold. There, looming in the distance, was a dilapidated old house, its windows boarded up and its roof caving in. It looked like something out of a nightmare, a relic of a forgotten time. "What is this place?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. She didn't answer, instead opening the door and stepping out into the darkness. I watched in horror as she disappeared into the night, leaving me alone in the cold embrace of the unknown. I should have driven away then, should have put as much distance between myself and that accursed house as possible. But something compelled me to stay, something dark and sinister that whispered of secrets long buried and forgotten. With trembling hands, I opened the door and stepped out into the night. The air was thick with the stench of decay, and I could hear the faint sound of footsteps echoing in the darkness. "Who's there?" I called out, my voice trembling with fear. There was no answer, only the sound of my own ragged breaths and the pounding of my heart. I stumbled forward, my footsteps echoing off the crumbling walls of the old house. With each step, the darkness seemed to close in around me, swallowing me whole. And then I saw her, standing at the top of the stairs, with a smile on her lips and madness in her eyes. She beckoned me forward, her voice a siren song, luring me ever closer to the edge of oblivion. I wanted to run, wanted to scream for help, but I was powerless to resist her call. With each step, I felt myself slipping further and further into the abyss, until finally I stood before her, trapped in her icy embrace. And then, with a whispered word and a flick of her wrist, she sealed my fate, condemning me to wander the darkness for all eternity. So if you ever find yourself driving alone at night, beware the hitchhiker on the side of the road. for she is no ordinary traveler. She is a creature of darkness, a harbinger of doom. And once she has you in her sights, there is no escape.